Hi there, Nathalie with you today with a new process video for Pink Fresh Studio. And today we're going to combine collections to create a new layout. And we're going to use actually quite a few products from the shop. Starting with, this is the Slimline Ornate Banner die set. I am actually going to use the large banner, and then there's one that creates a frame, like kind of an outline, to create literally what I'm going to say is a banner frame of this size. So I am going to start by cutting actually white cardstock out of it. I am using the one that it's used for foil, that's hammer mill, 100-pound, I always forget the name, premium color cover copy paper. And it's not paper, it's cardstock, but that's the name that it has in the package. So I'm going to cut 4 of them out of this. And you're going to see that I'm actually going to use quite a bit of sticky note tape to keep the frames together, because I want to use the same formation to cut all my paper. So I'm starting by cutting the 4 frames out of the white cardstock. I'm going to set that aside, and then I'm going to cut 2 frames using the same formation. Like I said before, I'm using quite a bit of washi tape to keep, the frames in the same position. I'm going to cut it out of this paper from the Spring Vibe collection. And I chose this paper because it has a lot of the colors that are in all the collections, like so yellow, there's a bit of orange, there's a bit of blue, green. So I just think that it's a nice representation of all the color palette of these collections. So once I have the pieces, I have 4 of the white frames and 2 of the colors. I am actually going to go ahead and stack them together. I'm going to glue the 2 white cardstock banner frames, that's the way, together, so that just makes them a little bit sturdier, gives them a little bit of dimension. And on top of that, I am actually going to attach, or I'm going to glue my pattern paper slimline banner frame. That's the best way to say it. So that's just going to create, think of it as a frame that looks like a banner, and it's just sturdier than just cutting it out of cardstock or paper. So it's just going to add dimension too. Once I have that, I'm actually going to back these frames. For that, I am using the Floral lace die. And I actually love this die. The reason why I love it is because it's a continuous design that repeats. What that means is that you can fill tons of space with it because the pattern repeats. So it's easy to fake or camouflage the spots with this joint. And I'm going to show you how I'm doing it right now. I went ahead and cut 4 of the dies, or the planes, or whatever you want to call them, out of white cardstock. I'm using the same one that I use for my frames. And once I have it ready, I'm going to go ahead, turn my banner frame to the back of it, add some glue, and I'm going to attach the first panel of the flower lace to the top of that. Think about where I have the straight line. Now to go to the bottom, you're going to see that I'm going to need a second piece to go at the bottom. Now here's the clue, and why I love this new die is because it's a continuous design. That means that to create the illusion that it's one large panel, all I have to do is make sure that I find the little divots that the linked flowers create to add my next flower. So that means that I'm going to have to probably cut some of the pieces and then fill up the space, and I'm okay with that. All I need is some glue, and then just a little bit of patience to make sure that everything nice and straight. But it took no time. Once I have all that nicely dried and attached, I'm going to go ahead and use a pair of scissors to just cut the excess, because all I wanted to do is fill up the empty space of the Slimline Ornate Banner frame that I created with the floral lace. And that's pretty much going to create my background. So you're going to see I have it ready. I'm just trimming out the excess, and I'm going to say that my background is ready. Now for my picture, and I kind of debated a few things right now, actually outside of the camera. I was thinking maybe I can put a large photo, and you can do that because it actually gives a great place. But then I wanted to use multiple pictures. So I went ahead first of all and pulled a piece of light pink cardstock for my background, and then I pulled one of the negative pieces that was left over from the cutting the banner frame, and I cut 2 pictures. These pictures are 3 inches in width by 3.5 inches in height, and they fit inside of the negative banner of the negative piece of the banner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually trim some of the pattern paper, just a little part at the bottom. I don't want to use the pattern paper because I wanted something a little bit more sturdy, sturdier, to create, like, give it some heft to make sure that it's a little bit, like, it stands nice and flat on my layout. So I'm using the cardstock for that. So I just cut the bottom part of the banner from the pattern paper and attached it on top of the cardstock, and then I'm going to glue my pictures right on top of it. So literally it looks like I cut the banners made out of pictures. That was my idea, and I'm gonna set that in between the two banners that I back with the lace. So now that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm just gonna go ahead and set my background. Once again, I'm gonna use glue because I know that I don't want anything to go underneath my lace. I want it to be nice and flat on my layout. That's why I created, like, the extra banner pieces, so that gives it some of the dimension that creates a shadow on my paper. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue my banners flat onto my layout. I'm gonna make sure that I center them on the page, and then I leave around an inch of space in between the two frames. Once I have that, I'm going to go ahead and glue my picture. But remember, because I added like 3 layers of paper, there is going to be a little bit of dimension. So to make up for that difference in height, I'm going to add a little bit of foam adhesive behind where the banner with the picture is going to sit, so that it lays flat on my layout. So now I'm going to say that I'm going to set that maybe around a half an inch lower from... Let's put an inch lower from the top of the banner. That sounds better. So then that means that the picture is going to sit a little bit lower than at the bottom edge of the banners. That's the best way to explain it. Now, I wanted something that was going to bring a little bit more of dimension to this. So I went and pulled one of the artistic bows. This is the artistic bow die set. And I cut one of the bows using, again, papers from the Spring Vibe collection. I pulled out some yellow because I just need a little bit of color and brightness on the layout. And then I'm using the A and B side of the same paper to cut my little tail and the round part of the bow. So you can see all I'm doing right now is just attaching it together. The center piece that keeps it together, I'm going to keep it white just to bring the white from the lace. And I'm going to set that aside. Now, I'm sure that all of you, or most of you I should say, have some sort of washi tape from Pink Fresh Studio in your stash. I happen to have 2. I am using the Artistic Dahlia and also the Chrysanthemum one for my layout. And I have already created quite a few outside of the camera. So I have little packages with each one of them. So you're going to see that I'm going to bring Chrysanthemum as part of like kind of my main focus flowers to my layout. And I'm actually going to add a line of florals at the same level as the bottom picture. So think about it as just kind of framing the bottom part of my layout. I'm going to make sure that when I add my pictures, they come from the sides of the bottom picture, first of all. And second, I want to make sure that my flowers do not cover the bottom edge of my frame, because I want that little tip, that little pointy edge at the bottom of the frame to show up. So I'm just playing with the colors of the collection, the colors of the flowers. I want a little bit of that yellow and orange with some of the pink of the other washi tape. Once I have my idea ready, and I don't want to cover all of it because I want the lace to show up. I want the edge of the frame to show just enough that it kind of extends the bottom line. That's all I'm doing. Once I'm happy with what it looks like, I'm going to go ahead and add some foam adhesive behind the flowers just to add some dimension, to create those levels, to add some movement. And once I have them ready, I like it, but I think I need to have something that's going to add more movement. So I went into my stash of beautiful things. That's what I call my dies. And I actually found the curvy leaf die set, and I love this. And so I have, again, I always, whenever I'm die cutting products or anything, I usually cut extra and I keep them behind the package so I know that I have it ready. So I'm going to go ahead and actually use some of these little leaves or branches just to extend the design. And once again, I want to make sure that these little leaves are kind of intertwined between the flowers, but they do not overtake the frame, and they do not cover the little tip at the bottom of the frame of the banner, and at the same time they don't take over the entire page. So think about it, I'm just extending that horizontal line at the bottom of the picture. That's all I'm doing. Once I have that, it's pretty much, I like what it looks like. It's just there's that framing, but I find it that I need to extend, kind of create my visual triangle. So once again, I'm going to take it off camera. I'm going to start adding some foam adhesive behind the leaves just to make sure like that it creates a movement. And then I'm gonna add another cluster at the top of the picture, so that kind of creates my little triangle, my visual triangle on the page. I am not gonna go heavy at the top. Once again, I don't want to cover a lot of the framework that we created, so I'm just gonna add a few of the flowers. Again, I'm gonna bring some of the leaves. Just again, I want to extend the design horizontally, but you're gonna see that this time I'm gonna be careful not to overextend it, because I don't want it to, like, literally I want it to look like a little triangle on my page. So once I have that ready, that's pretty much like all the embellishment, like major embellishment that this page is gonna take. I'm gonna take it off camera, add some foam adhesive behind the leaves just to make sure that again I create that movement on the page. And by creating that little bit of separation between flowers and the leaves, I also give the design a little bit of breathing space. So once I have that ready, I thought about how am I going to embellish this. So I did it outside of the camera actually. I went ahead and looked for something that gave me a circular motion because I have a lot of linear stuff. So I am pulling some of the flare, the chipboard flare from Chrysanthemum, that big circle that says you make me happy, you make me smile. That is from the Chrysanthemum cardstock stickers. And then I am actually adding a few more of the stickers from the Chrysanthemum cardstock stickers to the bottom, the edge of the flowers that I created at the bottom. I just want to elongate that design. That little heart with the florals is from the ephemera pack from the Chrysanthemum collection. And you're going to see that I'm going to bring also a small little sentiment, and I'm going to put it like in between the two pictures. Once I have that, I am actually thought about the title, and I thought that the best place to put the title was at the bottom of the pictures, like on the bottom of the banner. So I am using the small alphabet, the mini alphabet from the Chrysanthemum collection. Just gonna bring some of that green that you see in the florals. So the title is gonna be #BFFs. That's my mother and my daughter, and they get along very, very well. Like literally BFFs. Once I have that, pretty much I'm done. I don't want to like overtake my page. Like I said, I want everything to look like, to work nicely, to everything to shine. So I'm going to actually add some bling, and I'm using metallic gold drops. I am using a bit of glitter drops. So I'm using some blush, and I think it's Lagoon for this. And then you're going to see that I'm bringing my little, my jewel tool. That's what I call it. I just got it, so I love it. I love this tool. So it's just gonna help me to set up everything in place. I'm just gonna add a few more little accents, like make sure that everything is secure. I'm gonna add a few more gold metal drops just to the center of the page, right, like where I added the little orange sentiment, and that's about it. I love how this turned out. Like I said, I had an idea for the background, and I really, really love how, the idea turned into actually a layout. And I hope you try it. As always, if you have any questions on how this came together, do not hesitate to, leave me a comment so I can help you with anything. Everything that I use is available at the shop. You find the links in the description of the video. And as always, make sure you subscribe to the channel because you can see all the beautiful projects that get added. And thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you soon. Take care, guys.